I'm going to release the horses in the field because it's nice weather and the grass is very long, so they can spend the day in the field. But I'm waiting for a little bit because I need to grab the donkey because I want to give her some medicine because she's a rescue. She has a lot of problems and we're fixing everything and she'll be alright. But I need to give her a paste against worms, so that's what I'm going to do. But she's still a little bit scared. I can handle her quite alright, but sometimes when you try to grab her, she gets a little bit scared by your movement and things. So it's always best to do it when they're going into the field, because then she needs to walk right here and I don't have to chase her, because I really don't want to do that. So I'll try if I can grab her without causing too much stress. And if it doesn't work now, I will try again later today, because I'm not going to chase her. I just want her to be a little bit calm when I'm handling her. Going to hurt her. It's just a paste for in the mouth. It doesn't taste great, but that's about it. So make sure she has everything in her mouth and swallows it, and then I'll let her go. Because if I let her go right away, she will eat the grass and she will lose a lot of the paste. So now I think it's all gone. Yeah, good girl. You want some Coco? Coco doesn't need it right now. So, that was it. It's very easy. You can do it very quickly. I just don't want to spook her anymore, because this went great. She's fine with it now, but she still gets scared easy by sudden movements and when I try to hold her. And yeah, I don't want her to be scared around me. So with these things I just like to take my time and grab her when she's walking into the field, when she's relaxed, and then it works out great. do some work here, because a lot of people think, why don't you just let it grow naturally and keep it the way it is? But if we do that, you cannot even see the water anymore, because it will be full of reed, full of plants here on the edge, all the way to the middle. We like to watch the fish, and also it's better for the animals, because we have a lot of birds here, a lot of ducks, and if it's full, it's overgrown, they cannot land in there as easily. So yeah, they will stay away, and of course we don't want this, so that's why we need to try to trim it down a little bit, because it gets overgrown very quickly and then it's very hard to maintain it. So I need to clean up the edges a bit here, just a little bit, because it's fine when there's plants in there, of course, but we just don't want it to be overgrown. And also this, it's just weeds, and it can go make it look a little bit more nice, and also to keep it clean more easily and for the animals. So that's why I'm doing this, because I get this question sometimes, that people say, "Well, why don't you let it grow?" And of course it's fine to let it grow, and it will stay for the. It's no problem for the water. It's just we have some beautiful koi fish in here, and we like to watch them. We like the ducks to get in easy, and I like to see the water from time to time. So that's why I'm cleaning it up. So I'm in the chicken coop. This is the night enclosure I showed you guys before. But the chicks are 3 weeks old now, almost 3 weeks, and in 2 days they are. And they are still on the inside, because there they have the heating light, and yeah, it's of course it's a lot warmer on the inside. But on the outside, actually, it's the weather is great, and it's not very cold, also not in the night. So I want to put them on the outside, also because they need the space. They are in a small, it's actually a rabbit enclosure, and I want to put them here. First I need to do some things, because this used to be a small horse shelter, stable, and we put it here because I knew I was going to build a chicken coop around it, so this was a great spot for it to put it here. But I need to remove this, because this it's used for all kinds of animals, but now I need to use it for chicken. So I'm going to remove this so I can go in there clean it up a little bit and put some different wiring here so I can still enter. And also because this is too big for the chicks and I don't want them to roam in the whole enclosure. I want them to stay inside the stable for safety. And they will still get heat. I will just put the heat and light. It's actually a small plate we have and they can go under there to keep warm. I will put it here because this is dry, so it can just stay outside and they will still have the warmth. But then they have a lot more space than just a small box on the inside. So that's what I'm going to do now. And of course I will show you when I put them in here so you can see how much they've grown. And then next week we have the other eggs hatching, hopefully. So then we'll have some new very small chicks and they will stay on the inside. And when they're old enough, I think also 3 weeks when the weather is nice like this, it's not too cold in the nights, I will put them in here so they're all together. So that's what I'm going to do now. So everything is ready for them. So it's not very clean, but I did this on purpose because they like to scratch and they are learning to use their feet and playing around, scratching around. Actually already just being chickens, and they like when there's stuff laying around. So there's some dry leaves and some mud, some horse poo still, but they don't mind because chickens really love it to play around and look for things to eat and to scratch around. So that's great for them actually. That's why I wanted them here, so they have the space and they can learn to be chickens. And that's also why I put these branches here, some wood, just so they have an environment to play and learn in. They have a soft and warm space here, so this is heated at the bottom so they can crawl underneath and sleep there if they are cold. It's totally enclosed. They cannot get out here and nothing can get in, so they are safe here. And when they're big enough, I will open it up so they can roam outside in the outside enclosure. So I'm gonna grab them, put them in here. It's probably a bit scary for them, but we'll see how they act. And I think in a few hours they would love to play around. So let's see if they enjoy it. they are starting to get their feathers. They're doing great, so I'm very happy with it. Hopefully the next, they're very beautiful. I'm very curious to see how they will grow up. Hopefully the next 17 eggs are also doing this good. They will hatch next week, hopefully. So yeah, hopefully a lot of hens. With these ones I don't know yet, but with the other ones, because it's the cream leg bar chicken, you can see right away if you have hens or roosters. So yeah, I'm very curious. I hope a lot of hens. I would like with that batch of eggs I would like 10 hens. So yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Hopefully a lot, but you never know. And with these ones, it's impossible to tell yet. So I'm not sure. They have to be a little bit older for me to say. I'm pretty sure one of them is a rooster, and with the rest, I can't see it yet. They need to grow up a little bit more. But they're already enjoying it here, so I will remove the top. And then hopefully next week we have some newborn chicks fresh out of the egg. And of course I'll try to get it on video if the eggs are hatching. But you need to watch them closely because sometimes it goes very quick. With these one I was lucky enough. So if you want to see these chicks getting out of the egg, hatching for the first egg, I think I got on video, and you can watch the video. I think it's in the title, chicks hatching or something like this. So if you'd like to see how it looks in the incubator when the egg breaks open and the chicks are born, go watch that video, because it's an amazing thing to see. So hopefully with the next 17 cream leg bar eggs I'm able to see, but you never know, because it can go very quickly. So let them enjoy their space, get to know it a little bit here. So this is what's left over from the last storm, and although it's obviously fallen down, it's still attached to the tree trunk in the bushes over there. So I need to cut it off, this edge, and also this one. It's not really big. I think it's a branch from one of the bigger trees that fell down in the last storm. We had a lot of trees and big branches coming down. Also this year, yeah, we had quite a lot of storms, and always when it's stormy there's trees going down. There's nothing you can do about it. We try to use everything we can for firewood, so that's what I'm going to do with this one as well, because in my cabin the only heating source I have is a wooden stove. So in winter time I use a lot of firewood. And I try to get everything I can from the property here, because that way it's more sustainable and also very cheap in comparison when I need to buy all the firewood. We have a lot of wood around, so if the trees keep falling down, it's fine. I have more than enough to keep warm in winter time. It's just a little bit of work, because I need to use the saw, split this up. This one is small, so I can just cut it up in pieces and use it. But of course with the bigger trees you have to take the saw, cut it in pieces and then chop the wood. So there's a little bit of work involved, and I do everything, the chopping, almost everything, just with an axe with my hands. So no machinery used. So yeah, it's a little bit of work, but I think it's nice work. And if you do it in summertime, when the weather is nice, it's just great to be outside and work on those things if you have the time. And I like to spend my time that way and save a little bit of money. So of course I'm going to use this one as well. This one, it's quite small, so I can cut it up in pieces, don't need to chop it or anything. I can just use it in the stove in winter time. All the smaller branches, when it's too small, I'm not going to use it because it takes a lot of time and you get almost no heat out of it. So what I do with all the with all the smaller branches, we just burn it outside on a big pile or in a fire pit or something, just so we get rid of it. It is not laying around dying because it doesn't look too great. So we burn it, but I'm not going to keep it for our winter supply. I will just burn it right away. When we have enough wood to make a big pile, we burn it. And the rest of it will dry and use in winter time. So I'm going to cut this one. I think I'll bring it to the other side where I have the chopping platform. I have the axis over there. It's where all the big tree trunks, all the big piles of wood are. That's where I always do the chopping. So it's not in the way. It's a nice spot in the shade because in the sun it gets quite hot. So that's a nice spot to work, and that's where I'm going to bring it. I'm going to trim it down, take all the small branches off, and cut it into pieces, and then this one is done. And then I just have to work on all the other firewood, because you can see over here. Let me show you. Behind me, it is hidden now. You can see a little bit over there. It's yeah, this one went down, not the last storm, but the storm before this one, and it fell down right into the pond here. So we had to pull it out with the tractor, and yeah, it was a lot of work. So you can see under the trees there's a supply of wood here. Also, this is just a mess here. Still very big trees. Also, this branch went down. Also need to cut this one up because we can use it for some great firewood. All the smaller things just need to burn on the big fire. And then here underneath it, it's a little bit hidden now by the greenery, but it is also needs some work. So still yeah, probably a few weeks of work laying around here, but this is the thing. It's best to do it now because the weather is great, but there's a lot of work now. So I need to do it in my free time, because of course I have a lot of other things to do here. So yeah, this needs to go right away. That's why I'm doing it now, because this one is in the way, obviously. So this needs to go. And then the rest is a little bit by the side, so it's not really in the way. And then it just keeps laying there. And of course, sometimes I grab a tree trunk and then I'm working on it. But with such a big one, it takes me like a day to saw it into pieces and then chop it off and then put it away so it can dry. Yeah, it takes a little bit of time. And most of the times what happens is I just don't have the time to do it. It's laying here. I run out of firewood and then I have to do it right away. So most of the times I need to do it in winter, and I'm cutting up trees and chopping the wood when it's very cold outside. But it's what they say, if you chop your own firewood, it keeps you warm twice, because you get warm during the chopping and also when you burn it. So that's most of the time what happens here. I try to do whatever I can when it's nice and sunny like now. Also, when it's too hot, you don't want to be chopping wood the whole day. But I like to do most of it in summer so it can dry in the sun, and then I can use it in winter. But in reality, halfway in winter, I run out of firewood. I still have those big tree trunks laying around, big trees on the ground, and then I'll just use that wood and I cut it whenever I need it. So that's probably what's going to happen this year as well. But I try to, at least this year, I try to work on it now, do as much as I can already. So maybe this winter I don't have this problem, but we'll see. I probably will anyway. can see a little bit of wood still over there. Yeah, that also needs some work. But what you see right there, yeah, I'll spend a good few weeks turning this into good firewood. So a little bit of work. And I think with everything still laying around, this is maybe 15% of everything that still needs to it is not even cut into pieces. Still needs some work with the saw, then chopping up, then drying. So yeah, it's a lot of work, but it's nice work. It's a little bit warm now, and also these safety pants. Yeah, it's very warm, but it's all right. Safety first, of course. I don't mind being a little bit hot when it keeps my legs safe with this kind of work. So I think I'll do this later when I need to use the saw for other things, because it's not needed now. It's quite warm. You can hear Zeno in the background. He just returned from the vet's clinic because they needed to clean his teeth. And yeah, some of you know he's very old. He's 15 years old, so he's a little bit old. I was very worried for him because his teeth needed cleaning, and of course it's some anesthesia involved. Otherwise they cannot clean his teeth, and also they were thinking they might need to remove some of his teeth, and they did actually. So he was knocked out with anesthesia, and with with elder doses. He's old, especially for a bigger dog. And yeah, I was very worried, but he's safe home now. He came home in an hour ago. He's doing great. He's still a little bit dizzy, and that's why you hear him in the background, because he's still a little bit confused. He's right next to me, and I took some clips of him at the vet's clinic. He was he was fully out of it, and he's doing great now. They were very surprised with how good he was doing. So he'll need painkillers for a few days, and then he's probably just going to do fine. But I was worried about him, so I'm very happy to hear him in the background. Although it sounds a little bit sad, I'm happy he's doing good and making some noise, because it means he is safe and sound at home. So hopefully he'll live a good few years with clean, healthy teeth, so he can enjoy his food and I can enjoy his company. But yeah, I think that's it for today's work outside, because it's very hot, and I like to spend some time with him, calm him down a little bit. And also probably going to end this video here. Yeah, a lot of property maintenance this week's video. And also next week we have the eggs hatching, so probably gonna show that. Very curious to see. So if you would like to watch my other videos, feel free to do so. I also made a short videos about the animals around here. So if you like to know more about the animals I have walking around, take a look. And comment if you want me to show any other animals, if you want to know anything, if you would like to see anything I do in my daily life. I love reading all the comments and all the reactions, and if you don't want to miss anything, please subscribe, because I will post a new video every Sunday with everything I do that week. So if you want to stay in the loop, subscribe, and thank you guys for watching.